Welcome back. Part of the meaning of a poem is conveyed by the sound of words used. As in music, each word has its tone color. Individuality of tone color depends upon differences in the sound of the letters. The poet chooses words with appropriate tone color to produce his or her intended effect. For example, nasal suggests humming. Liquid consonants suggest soft, easy, and flowing. Fricative, something lingering or continuous, while stops, an abrupt end or finality. Listen to this poem by Helen Chassin.
The word plum. The word plum is delicious. Pout and push, luxury of self-love and savoring murmur, full in the mouth and falling like fruit. Taut skin pierced, bitten, provoked into juice and tart flesh. Question and reply, lip and tongue of pleasure.
Don't you think the poem savors the sounds of the word as well as the taste and feel of the fruit itself? It is almost as if the poem tastes the sounds and rolls them carefully on the tongue. It even replicates the p and the ooh and the sounds of the word, while at the same time imitating the squishy sounds of eating the fruit, doesn't it? Even the words like delicious and luxurious sound juicy. The poet might also explore the possibilities of evoking a particular mood through a regular repetition of the same vowel sound in the assonance or the repetition of the same consonant sound in the alliteration. The poet may also use onomatopoeia, the use of words that imitate the sounds named, or the poet may employ rhyme, similar sounds at the end of each line. Poetry has rhythm, that pattern of sound pulsations in the voice as one reads it. Traditional poetry has measured rhythm, that is, it has regular verse or line pattern whose unit of measure is the foot. A foot is normally consisting of a stressed syllable and one or more unstressed syllables. Most English poems use one or more of the following as their basic meter, but not with absolute regularity. The iambic foot has one unaccented and one accented syllable. The Baroque key has one accented syllable before the accented one. The Anapest has two unaccented syllables followed by one accented. A dactyl has one accented syllable followed by two unaccented ones. And spondee has two accented syllables. The most common line length in English poetry is pentameter, 5 feet in one line. Here is a table of the most common line lengths. Modern free verse is free of exact measure. It uses phrasal measure which approximates the rhythm of everyday speech. Listen to this example.
In the far south, the sun of autumn is passing like Walt Whitman walking along a ruddy shore. He is singing and chanting the things that are part of him, the words that were and will be death and day.
That was by Wallace Stevens. Poetry is like ordinary speech. The sounds of human speech do not come out in one even flow, but in varying pitches and stresses, volumes and durations. This variety provides the rhythm in language. In poetry, this is more evident because it is used to stress certain moods and feelings, ideas and attitudes. Speaking about feelings and attitudes, this brings us to the tone of a poem. The tone is the feeling that the poem has created in the reader. It is communicated by the writer's or the speaker's attitude towards his or her subject, audience, or himself or herself. It is the emotional coloring of the work. In spoken language, it is indicated by the inflection of the speaker's voice. A poet may treat his or her subject heroically, piteously, humorously, detachedly, callously, or angrily. It is his or her attitude that is transmitted in rhythm, sound, image, and so on. Remember the feeling of awe and wonder in The Tiger, with words that connote mystery as well as the rolling consonants in tiger, tiger, burning bright, in the forests of the night. What immortal hand or eye could frame thy fearful symmetry? Contrast this with the mellifluous liquid eyes and the nasals that connote tenderness, even as the words connote fondness and delight in William Blake's The Lamb. Little lamb, who made thee? Dost thou know who made thee? Gave thee life and bid thee feed by the stream and o'er the mead? Gave thee clothing of delight and softest clothing, woolly bright? Accurate determination of tone is very important. Finally, to get the meaning of the poem, we must not only know the sense of an utterance or the implications of the sound, we must also know how the words fit together. Knowing the established rules of grammar of the language used is necessary to the understanding of poetry. Remember also that some authors, especially modern ones, do not write in complete sentences. Some vary from the expected use of words and word order. The structure of almost any poem can be distinguished as predominantly narrative. They may also correspond to the different types of poetry, which are narrative, lyric, and dramatic. In the simplest narrative poems, such as the ballad, the indispensable elements are the problem, the turning point, the climax, and the denouement. Take a look at this.